What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy, Andy, Ben, Bill. Good morning to you. Good morning to Daniel, Keith, Kevin, Lauren, Lucian, Peter's in the house. All my people out of YouTube land. Good morning to all of you. All my lurkers in the background. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you have not done so already. And we are at the inflection point on the SPY for sure. Cannot we had good earnings again last night on some companies. We got CRM tonight. We'll see how that one goes. I think we got Snow coming up as well. So some more decent tech companies trying to rally. Yeah, Trump, I believe this morning saying he's going to bring robotics back to the U.S. And you got some companies. I think iRobot was kind of running Serve, which I still have some positions in, trying to bounce back a little bit. Definitely some uh, beat up sector a little bit from just the recent, but the good comments kind of pumping it a little bit. And yet the market doesn't really want to do anything. Good high wave indecision candle again, kind of a tight range. Important levels. For today, we have a decent support, 680.80. Watch for that one first. Well, actually, watch for that one second. We got yesterday's VPOC, which we're right at right now. So let's see where we open above or below 681.49. And depends on if you blink or not, you're back and forth, and we're gonna freak out for the next probably 27 minutes until we make up our minds. That would be my first indication, but then we got 680.80 to the downside, to the higher side. You got 682, roughly about 682.24, something like that. Bad news in both directions. We've been through all of that main support, main resistance. Even if you go a little higher, you got 682.99. Even if you want to go a little higher, you got 683.55, 51. All of those have been hit. All of them have been retested. We haven't held any of them. We just kind of closed this small little chop zone. So I think today is going to be an important day. If you do have, or actually, it's either going to be an important day or absolutely insignificant day. So if we just stay inside of this range, I don't know. Maybe we don't really do much, and we need another day or two to kind of break out. So I don't know if what's up, Peter? I don't know if we have the ability to break out. If we have any news stories that are really gonna catapult us one way or the other. But right now you have a bullish flag setting up. That's good for the markets if we could break out northbound. So kind of facing a little like I said in the beginning, inflection point in the market. We'll see which way we could break. Right now, you do have the market kind of leaking as I'm talking. I'm gonna stop talking. I don't want this. It's probably my fault. They listen to me. They're like, all right, let's just sell. DJ might still be a little more bullish than bearish, so we'll take his money now. But right into that support. We're gonna watch this level, see if anything's happening. I don't know if that's a pretty decent sell-off. I don't know if somebody's talking right now, but yeah, that's a quite the sell-off very quickly within a 5 minute time period. Let's check out the Qs. Qs also leaking back a little bit as well. For right now, that is a bearish gap and go. Still inside day, so some hopium, but the next well, the support we should have held. And again, we got 25 minutes. We'll see what happens, but we got 620.52. We'll see if we hold on that level, or we want to open where we're at now, which would be below it. That would take us back down to 617. I almost said 6-7 there for a second, but the team came in, so 617. We'll see if that support right around pretty much 617 flat can hold for us. But to the higher side, for confirmation, for an actual breakout, you got 622.34. We'll see if we can take that out as well. BTC USD trying its best for a little recovery. It was before, kind of came back with the rest of the market. ADP came out today as well, and it looks like it was going to be pro rate cut numbers. So most likely, I think Jerome Powell probably continues and I think the market's got it priced in as well. But we'll see what happens. Otherwise, it looks like Jerome Powell probably ends up cutting quarter point on I believe it's next week. I think we hear from Jerome next week. We'll see what happens. Other than that, really good uh, candle yesterday. Okay close. Better follow through for today, but that is a double bottom. So we're looking at this off that demand zone for quite some time. So far, it's playing out pretty well. but you have right into that demand zone, strong bounce, good volume, pretty quickly taking that candle out. This is your retest right into that bottom VPOC. So there's your higher low. And we'll see. We still got this 95K zone that we got to take out. And then we're kind of looking just above 100. So the next resistance for Bitcoin, if we get some continuation, it's a 6.75, so that's a tough one, but you got 102,708 is the next target to the higher side if we can take out this 95,107. So watch for those levels. So far, Bitcoin is kind of hanging out, trying to rebound just a little bit. Let's see what gold is doing. Gold is bouncing a little bit, so gap and go for today, looking slightly different than the current market now. Almost kind of the opposite. But good hammer yesterday. You did close right at a decent level from 2 days ago, 387.11. We're trying to stay above it. For gold, though, you got your resistance, or next VPOC at least. You got that one coming in at 389.99, and then you have 394.28 would be a big kind of level supply zone, 12.49. That's massive. So they're gonna have Bull's gonna have some work to do to get through this, and once we get through it, we should probably fly again in gold. But for right now, kind of hanging out between a couple of key ranges, still looking a little bit more. I'd have to edge it to the bull side as opposed to the bear side. We got SLV. That one is not as good today, but still hanging out inside yesterday's candle, opening right at yesterday's VPOC. If we start to lose this level, well, there's not really too much support to hold us back from a decent pullback down to $50.12. So you have some room to the short side on silver. You do have another level. So if we open underneath probably 52.72, yesterday's VPOC, you still have about 52.94. So two levels of resistance that silver has to climb through. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 green days in a row. Probably needs a rest, probably needs a pullback. I'm not saying this is the all-time high on silver, but maybe a little pullback could be needed. So watch silver, see if that starts to weaken out a little bit. I'm going to move this one a tad higher. Yeah, SPY just started. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if there was somebody talking, but pre-market, as right as I hit, okay, let's go live, the market started selling. So I believe Trump was talking earlier. I don't know if he's still talking or not. Let me just see. It's still going down. Yeah, no buyers yet for the SPY. Okay, looks a little bit different than we did 10 minutes ago. We got Uber is, I believe, got an upgrade today. So Uber, nice little upgrade. We'll see if there's selling pressure from the overall market. So be careful on everything. This is going to be a retest gap. I think they got into like the 120s or something on that upgrade. Let's see. From to buy from neutral. Yeah, 125 a share. So we'll see what happens, but they are bullish. That is a impressive call if it happens. Other than that, where I would be concerned is a lot of the upgrades haven't held recently. Number one, two, you are into a little resistance, 89.43. Let's see if we get above that. Might as well be 89.50 flat. Stay above there. Other than that, decent open above the 20. Not bad. Trying to hang into that 200 EMA. I think more of a retest. I think there's an opportunity probably to short at open. You got 87.64, but we'll see where this opens. That's going to be key. stay below 89.42, and I think you get a retest. Anything above, maybe get you a little bit higher. 91.06 would be my next target higher. Stretch target for the day probably takes you to about 91.57. But definitely a little range on both sides. We'll just see where this one opens. You might want to take, if you're going short, maybe like a pre-market breakdown, something like that. We got Hood. Hood is hanging out essentially where we closed. It is up about a couple pennies. Now up a little bit more. About 30 cents so far. Still inside day for today, so nothing too crazy. I do like it above at least our first support resistance, also kind of where we closed yesterday, 126.04. So stay above that. That might give us some more room. Again, I don't know if today is a breakout day for Robinhood. I don't know if we see any crazy news or something like that that comes out that really pushes it. But watch for 127.86. I think that's your target to the high side, somewhere in that zone. To the lower side, you have 122.89. So that 126.04, I think that's going to be an important level, at least for direction. I'm just not sure if you're going to have enough risk reward unless you're expecting. I think your higher target is 128.27. If that could break out, now you have a really good trade. But I think it's probably a little bit more chop. You're going to have to have I think, a decently tight setup for that one. But otherwise, still looks decent. Good high wave candle, stayed above it, and more impressively, still above that November 20th candle. So not bad for a longer term move. Support or demand zones all the way down at 109.99, and then you got to the higher side somewhere up in this 143.50 zone. So plenty of room still to go, and you're smack in the middle of both sides of it. So pick a direction. You got Tesla. Tesla, I think, is getting, even Tesla kind of pulled back a little bit, but on that robotics news of bringing robotics back to the U.S. and Trump's interest in it, Tesla did start to move a little bit with that as well. So I think Tesla might be good for today. Watch for, let's see where we got some support. Very tight range at open, still inside day candle. Typically, that leads to a pullback before we rally, but if we can hang out above, I think 430.94, you might get a little bit of a rally. Problem is, you have a resistance right at 431.89. Again, not a significant one. It's still a gap and go for today, but I would expect maybe a little chop first, back and forth, and then I think probably you get a break bullish. Looking for targets. I don't know. I would say my target is 435.32. We did hit that yesterday. And then if we do have the robotics news kind of on the side of it, maybe you can run up to like 438.51. So I would put that as my stretch target for today. Anything else? I mean, if Tesla wants to do anything crazy, the next real big spot is 444.53. I just don't know if we get to that for today. We're running out of tickers. You guys got to throw some more tickers in. Anybody was just checking on your swing trading video and saw you were live, so I came check it out. All right. Well, welcome. Appreciate you joining us. Yeah, if you guys got other tickers, the other one, again, that I'm watching personally is Serve. So we'll see. Serve is getting already a decent gap. It is a retest gap from yesterday, but we've had that was kind of more inside day a little bit. The Bulls tried, might see a little bit pullback, opening into a little tiny little bit of resistance. We'll see if we get a pullback into like $10.36 if there's a pullback. You do also have to be cautious of the 200 EMA right there. We'll see if today, if we can get above that, and more importantly, I think if we get above $10.83, speaking of swings, that could get you a decent push eventually back into this $11.76 zone. So it's got some room. It's got a little bit of work to do first, but we'll see if we can get a little bit of follow through, I guess, on that one. Hims is. Uh, Still looking a little bit weak. I'd like to see it come back down to this 34.99 zone. At least that was our last demand zone. We have a 10.68. That's strong. We are gapping up at the moment slightly. We'll see how much that wants to hold, but still in just yesterday's lower end of the range for yesterday. I think this day, again, this is November 13th. We got the VPOC somewhere around 36.41. We're kind of opening slightly above it, so that might be decent. I I'll give you risk to reward on this one if you're throwing a stop underneath that candle. So if you think that this is it, maybe don't break the low of yesterday, and then I think you got range back into slightly above 30, decently above 37, 37.54 to the high side. But market was decent today, yesterday. Hims not so much. I think a double bottom down here with a higher low right around that $35 range gives you a little bit better risk to reward even for a swing trade on this one. So we'll see if we come down a little bit lower on that. Let's see. We got TSM. Annie, what's up, Annie? We got TSM is chilling. A lot of high wave candles yesterday, huh? So yeah, high wave indecision. You've got a little bit of tiny support, pretty much where we opened 291.89 yesterday. Obviously proved we can break those levels. We did do it yesterday. Bulls did rally back pretty decent. I like this resistance a lot in terms of if we break, you probably have some good follow through. 290, 292.37. We've already broke that yesterday. We almost got into the next resistance, which not we didn't quite do. So 294.85, still that spot. Um, but anything above, I think yesterday's VPOC, and that might take us at least to the high end of yesterday. So I don't think I have really too much edge, too much sentiment on it. It does look like it's trying to bounce. You're right at the high of that November 20th candle. High wave indecision. Can we break through it or not? I don't know. Market's trying to figure it out. But also, you did have one pullback. Those pullbacks help to fuel up some of those bullish rallies. And I think we're hanging out. The trend looks like, at least recently, like we want to try to go bullish. I just don't know if we have any edge whatsoever at open on it. So I think be careful. If it pulls back or gives you some kind of intraday setup, I'd rather be more bullish than bearish on it. Speaking of bullish, AAL, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll call that technically a green candle, but this one did open and close lower than that previous day. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green days in a row. Even though that one's a cheat right there on Monday, but it is what it is. Even bulls came back to close a green. Plenty of room to go higher on this one. Let me see. Yeah, we got all the volume now below us. Again, not really much holding us back. Next bigger target takes us up to about $17 or within that range. So plenty of room to run on this one with not really a whole lot of volume. Probably looking for continuation. Very, very difficult to get in here after so many green days if you're trying to go for a swing. For today, you do have a little bit of a gap down. You have really good support. I think the closest you can get to 1407, you might have the ability to set up some decent risk reward. But again, you're fighting 6 other days besides that one to for people already in this thing bullish, maybe looking for some gains. But I don't really see too much. Looks like the bulls are stepping in. I'd watch it for a swing, especially if we get some kind of a pullback. But looks kind of decent. Again, for day trade, I don't know. Maybe it has come down a little bit more. We got Soundhound. Here's another one. Perfect little bounce off of a demand zone. That works. You do have, and I've been watching this one. I don't know that we come back down here. This $10.38. Obviously, if the broader market does not want to hold some of these highs that we're at, that's not going to help. But then again, rate cuts going to be good for a company like SoundHound. So now you have a little bit of a potential AI exposure. Plus, you also have a company that is exposed to the lower, benefiting at least from lower rates. Not a great day yesterday. Just kept on selling. Again, the market was decent. Not so much on SoundHound. And then and they had a good shot too. They had a good shot of breaking out. Just didn't want to do it. I think this one comes down to $11.09, something similar to that Bitcoin that we were just looking at. Let me see. Where's the pen? So if we could establish that as low, we broke out. We never really retested that. I think we get into that $11.09 zone and maybe get that balance for a bigger correction. So for day trade wise, come down a little bit more and maybe even set some alerts down at that 1109 zone. See what happens. On a swing trade, you're probably throwing your stop at the below that high wave candle with a rush to buy off of demand. So we'll see what happens, but I think a little bit lower, and I think it might be decently set up. MSTR. Mm, MSTR we've got is, I mean, that is a good looking candle 2 days ago for Monday. Again, it looked like MSTR was just going to probably tank another, I'd say from the low, which we got pretty low. This is another $20, $25 to the downside until we reach that 124.69. So that's actually where demand is. It's not even that strong down there. But the way they kind of came back, rallied, Bitcoin's starting to look a little bit better at this point. So we'll see. Um, I think this one probably continues to go a little higher for today. Okay, close yesterday. Still inside of that candle from November 28th. We did break it at one point, could not hold. More importantly, though, that's our second time past this VPOC. So I think this is a rather easy one to take out, 185.30. Probably still need a little pullback. Maybe we'll see at open. down to 184.22. Otherwise, the next immediate target probably takes us to 192.87. So we got plenty of room on that trade. Not really much else holding us back. If we get through that, we got $200 flat. Good psychological number. And then a big level is probably about 210.18. So lots of room on MSTR if it can hold. We'll see where this one opens. I wouldn't mind a retest of the 184 zone, which would be yesterday's VPOC. And then if we could establish some kind of a low there, maybe we could take it from that point. But not too bad on that one. MSFT. Below the 200. Say it ain't so. I will not go. Carry me home. The problem I have with MSFT is a lot, kind of. Who knows what happens from here, but I don't like the fact that there is so much volume up here. We kind of, for the markets to hang in there, we kind of need Microsoft to stay up there, but there's a lot of resistance if we go higher. Uh, we are building out at least a little bit of volume, but nothing comparative to this, nothing comparative to this. And if we start breaking this little tiny level, there's probably a flush somewhere on MSFT, which could take us into some support here. But rather, I'd be looking probably even. I mean, you have your higher volume zone for retesting 413.93. You don't have your buy zone until 363. So I think we're kind of high up there. Microsoft is a good company. AI comes back in favor of this market. Microsoft's going to benefit. Anything chat GPT related. You have quick resistance zones up here, 10.75. I think this has got a lot of pressure. That's not a great looking gap. I don't like it below that 200 for today. Is at open the best time to short? I don't know. You do have a little bit of, even though that's a gap and go, yesterday's candle was really inside that red candle from the day before, which was also a gap and go. I could see this fading back today. As weak as this thing kind of looks, and as much room as this thing has to go down further, I think maybe there's a little bit of a bounce before we go. We'll see. It might only take us into 479, which is that 200. Also a good VPOC right at that level as well. I don't know if we close this gap 487.02. I'm not even sure what the news is on this. Why is this down? Microsoft down mid lower AI sale quotas. Okay, there you go. Yeah, they're also going to get like I said, if they get good AI news, that's going to benefit them. But if people start talking bubble again, that's going to hurt Microsoft. We shall see. But plenty of room to the downside. So I think overall, probably shorting it better. But for today, I think you probably get some kind of initial bounce at least. BIDU, company like Microsoft is just tough to take down. It's tough. Baidu is not looking as good today. Yesterday was a phenomenal bounce spot. You did hit some almost perfectly, some good bounce spots on Baidu. They just couldn't hold. We're kind of revisiting. We'll see what happens at these levels. Anything below 117.08, so I'll call it 117. You have one other level of support, 116.72, but the fact that you are probably trapping a lot of bulls closing pretty strong yesterday, I think this is probably more of a short than a long for today on Baidu. Let's push that a little bit higher. I guess we don't have to go too much higher. Uh, but yeah, I think kind of looking a little bit to the weak side. We got Okta. Okta with some earnings fairly decent. You got earnings per share beat by 8.13%. You got okay earnings on the revenue portion of things came in with an extra 11. The market doesn't like it though. Uh-oh. Market gapping down. I'm not sure what the guidance was for Okta. The one saving grace at the moment is you do have the low end of that wick, and if you're going to try to play some risk reward on this one, maybe getting your stop below that. I think that ends up breaking, at least in a longer term sense, and it's a really good demand zone, and you're just at the bottom. I think this is also probably a decent fade. I'd have to wait for some intraday candles. Um, you don't really want to see if we start breaking 76.34, there's really nothing stopping us until about 74.66. This has kind of been a struggle bus on the stock for a while. anytime we've been down in these ranges with some volume, yeah, now you're building out lots of volume above us, 83.54. You got 91.65. All those ranges above us are tough. Um, I could see this one coming back. I could see this one. That is a very good demand zone. Kind of tough to break. You do have, I guess, Catalyst today, even though the earnings were good. I'm not sure exactly what the guidance was on this one. But if you're putting a stop below this candle, and I would go not very tight below this candle, I'd give it some room unless they're just going to gap it down. Now they're gapping it down below it. So yeah, see what this one wants to actually open in 3 minutes. At this point, I'm not playing the fade if we're opening where they're telling me 50, 75, 60. Maybe next spot to try to play bounce 74.66 if we get a bounce there. Andy says, I feel like Octa usually has good numbers, but it never has good. It's never good enough for the investors. I know the investors on this one just extra picky, I guess. I'm not sure, but you could also look at valuation too. I mean, just because a company beats and they have good earnings per share doesn't mean that the company is. We have to see how many shares are out there and stuff like that. So, what the current PE is, what their growth potential is, all of that's going to play into it as well. But yeah, they were kind of set where the bar wasn't that high, and investors still not showing up. MP is decent. The one I have is CRML. It's going to be the same space, but you do have a double bottom, nice retest, kind of broke again. Probably looking for your next demand zone, 57.30. Didn't quite hit that. There's a gap and go to the bear direction. What I'd be watching for is that dotted line, 61.22. We start getting northbound and a couple more closes above it, but we're consolidating. Not sure which way we want to break yet. That is a rapid move. So this is my problem with CRML as well. That kind of move creates bag holders. So even though there's buy spots, unless we continuously get hit with good news, good news, good news, partnerships with the U.S., good news from Trump in that space, as you start to rise, you get those bag holders starting to clean out. So it's very tough to. It's going to be a volatile stock if you're playing it. You are at a demand zone, 5.56. I'll show you CRML too, since that's the one I'm in. Yesterday, phenomenal day. Today, a little bit of a. It was looking a little bit better. I guess everything was a couple of minutes ago, but a little bit of a pullback. Same thing. Uh, I like it. It's got good risk to reward. That's why I'm in it. But that is a big move, causes a lot of bag holders. So I don't think I'm going to be in there for if I hold it to the end and it could get there. That's like 17 hours. I don't know. That's a little tough. But that is the morning bell. So everybody on YouTube land, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you've not done so already.